This is Money Guide with Mary Sterk from Sterk Financial Services. Now, here's Mary Sterk.
Welcome to Money Guide with Mary Sterk. And today's topic is we are going to be talking about 5 secrets of wealthy women. I love this idea. I love being able to share with listeners some of the things that wealthy women have said are their secrets to success. Now with me today, I have Kelsey Bankey, who is a certified financial planner at our office. Welcome, Kelsey.
Thank you, Mary. And before we get started, since we're going to talk about women today and wealthy women, I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Mary was named one of the Investment News Women to Watch. Now, I follow investment news. It's kind of my job to do that. But this is a really big deal. There are only 20 women in the U.S. in all of the different financial the different arms of the financial industry that were selected for this. So congrats. It's a very big deal. And it was fun because I got to see you on the cover. I opened my investment news and there she was. So
I'll tell you what. Thank you, Kelsey. It was an amazing experience. The investment news publication is one of the most widely read publications in the entire financial industry. And to be selected among this group of dynamic and truly amazing women was such an honor and a privilege. And, they flew me out to New York and we did a cover shoot and I felt like a model for a day. And then I realized, oh my gosh, my feet are killing me from standing in these heels for so long.
I guarantee no man has ever had that thought before they got on investment news cover.
I have a new respect for the uncomfortableness of models and cover shoots. But anyway, it was a really neat experience. And one of the best things about it was that I got to meet many of the other women. And then there's an award ceremony coming up in March that Investment News is putting on in New York again, where we'll all be at. And not only will there be the awards luncheon, but we're going to have a think tank of these 20 women. And the power of the minds is just unreal. And I'm so excited to be in that kind of exciting environment with thought leaders and people who are dynamic business game changers and things like that. So anyway,
they had some
cool
videos online that I watched where you all were talking about different, hot topics. And it was amazing how they just seemed like they could be your best friend. But yet you're looking at their titles and you're looking at what they've accomplished and what they had a hand in. And it's like, whoa. Yeah. That's really cool.
It's a neat group of people. If you're interested in seeing what we're talking about, you can go to investmentnews.com or you can Google Investment News Women to Watch and it will come up. And if you'd like a reprint of the article, you can always call our office too. So, all right, on to the secrets of wealthy women. The first secret that I believe to be true when you look at women who are wealthy is that they take time to understand how money works and they are involved in their household finances. I think that one of the things that has happened over time is that women have started to get more and more involved in the actual finances and in the day-to-day management of money in their houses. But, Kelsey, like growing up for you, was your mom involved in the money side or was that mainly your dad?
My mom handled a lot of it because my dad was out working. My mom stayed home and raised my sisters and I until we were out of the house going to school, and then she went into town to work. But she definitely handled, paying the bills and things like that. And I think what really stands out to me in that secret is it's not that you have to control it, but you have to understand how it all plays together. Mm-hmm. And if nothing else, it helps you make better buying decisions and better timeline decisions, helping you figure out how this decision right now is going to affect you in the future when you understand how it all works.
Right. That's a really good point. Now, statistically speaking, this is kind of a funny thought, but as many as 9 out of 10 women will be solely responsible for their finances at some point in their lives.
All right.
Now, that's according to the National Center for Women and Retirement Research. I think that's kind of a funny statistic, but I think a lot of it is because women are likely to outlive men.
Statistically, that is correct.
You're going to end up with the money, ladies. So let's figure out how to use it, what to do with it, and how to understand it. And I think that's a huge layer to people's success, is getting involved with it and starting to understand it. Now, if you've never worked with it, if you've never been the one in your family to deal with your household finances or to do the investing, then this is a time to step forward and say, I want to start to get involved. Doesn't mean you have to take over. It can be just, I want to understand this. Help educate me on what's going on with money in our household. What do we have? How does it work? And what's it going to be doing for us in the future? So those are the things that you can do now to help you get more involved in your household finances and how they work. Okay, secret number 2. Wealthy women tend to invest with an eye on both return and security. Okay, so women tend to carry more insurance and they reduce their risk in different way than male investors do. It's kind of interesting when you look at all the studies that are out there. So, all right, here's an interesting statistic. Women now control $39.6 trillion in the world. That's a lot of money. However, that's still only 30% of the wealth of the world. It's getting bigger. It was 25% 5 years ago. This is according to the Boston Consulting Group. But the thing about it is, if we're starting to control more money, then the way that we're investing things is shifting the industry, right? When you're talking about trillions of dollars, if women's retirement or investing patterns are more geared towards insurance and reducing their risk, but yet still having growth, that changes the dynamic of a lot of things in the financial industry.
Absolutely. And I think of a lot of the women that I know that, have been successful, and all of them always still have that what if in the back of their head. What if the worst case scenario happens? And adding some kind of protection helps alleviate that, because we've got 1,000,001 things to worry about. I mean,
Really?
Whether or not my kid's going to choke today, or does he have enough clothes on? Did I feed the right food? Did my dogs get enough exercise? I mean, like, the amount of things that I worry about on a daily basis, and I know don't worry, but it's just in our nature. So if you can take part of the worry away by, some kind of guaranteed protection, it just feels better. And
Right.
so this totally makes sense to me that this is generally how wealthy women tend to invest.
Now, I don't think that necessarily changes much as you age either. Kelsey's children are young. My children are all adult children and in college and beyond. And I still have a lot of those same security type worries about, is my family going to be okay? And so what many wealthy women frequently do is they take care of the bases first that make them feel more secure, and then they tend to focus on the growth, right? And so it's not putting the cart before the horse. It's making sure that they feel that their needs are done so that they can confidently move forward with looking for something that's growth related when they know they feel more secure with whatever they've done with the rest of their portfolio or their insurance coverages. We see women tend to have more life insurance. Women tend to be the drivers for having long-term care insurance. Women tend to make sure that their children are protected with coverage on them. They tend to make sure house and car insurance limits are at a higher level. And so they're looking around themselves and kind of layering in added areas of protection before they're taking the next step to say, now let me set myself up for a rock star retirement where I have a lot of money. And what happens then, because they do this, and why it ties into being a secret of a wealthy woman, is that they're not worried about the rest of it. So when they're starting to do research and they're confidently making decisions going forward that might be more growth related, if they know they have their bases and their security covered, then they don't have to overdo that, right? They're not leaning or tilting too heavily towards security. They know they've got things covered, so now they can tilt more towards growth with things going forward.
And be more confident with that.
Right.
You know that that everything is protected the way that you want it, so that if this has fluctuation or volatility, it's not going to hurt your base.
Exactly. So, okay, for you wealthy women out here who are over age 50 and who are thinking about retirement, I definitely want to extend an invitation to you, as well as all of our listeners, to our seminar that's going to be coming up January 11th. It's a little ways off, but mark it on your calendar. We're going to be talking about retirement readiness then. So please join us. You can get more information on our website at sterkfinancialservices.com.
Congratulations to Mary Sterk and the team at Sterk Financial for earning a spot on multiple Forbes lists for 7 years running, including 2018 to 2024 Forbes Best in State Wealth Advisors, 2018 to 2021 Forbes Top Women Wealth Advisors, and 2022 to 2024 Forbes Best in State Women, #1 in South Dakota.
Okay, welcome back to Money Guide with Mary Sterk, and today we're talking about 5 secrets of wealthy women. The first one is they take time to understand how money works, and they're involved in their household finances. The second secret is they invest with an eye on return and security, so they tend to carry more insurance and reduce their risk in different ways. The third secret that Kelsey and I want to share is this. Women tend to make slower and more deliberate investing decisions. Now, here's what I mean by this. A slower and more deliberate decision means that they're not just talked into something on a whim, or they don't hear a hot tip and then just go after it. It's something that women, generally speaking, take time to research or to develop a relationship with someone that they can talk with in order to decide if an investment decision is right for them. It's slower as a process because they are more interested in understanding and being educated about something, and they're not making spur-of-the-moment decisions more often than not about investing and what to do with their money. These slower and more deliberate decisions frequently turn into more successful decisions, and that's why it's a secret of wealthy women. And I think this is interesting because, women have some unique challenges to them that they've had to overcome when it comes to investing.
Yeah, Mary, despite earning lower salaries, living longer, and taking time off from the workforce to raise families, they're still taking on more and more wealth every single year. And I think a lot of that is to go toward the fact that they are so intentional about what they're doing with their finances. So in having all of those things that could set you back, just in as far as progressing in your wealth, if they're making the right decisions, that's helping them make some ground back.
Absolutely. Okay, the fourth secret is that women build relationships with trusted advisors and they take action on sound advice. Now, there's a lot of people that, kind of laugh about the idea that women like to talk a lot.
We do?
Gee, really?
We have a radio show every week.
We must like to talk. But the thing is, I think a lot of women are like that. And we build relationships through talking to each other, and we seek out community, and we look for our tribe, and that's something that women tend to do in a different way than men tend to do. And because of that, a woman is generally looking to form relationships with trusted advisors. Now, I don't just mean a financial advisor, but a wealthy woman typically has amassed a team of trusted advisors that they have built solid long-term relationships with. That generally means they have a strong relationship with an attorney. It means they have a strong relationship with a CPA. It means they have a strong relationship with their financial advisor, with their insurance advisor. Their team is somebody that they know, they trust, and they rely on to give them advice. And they also know that ultimately they are the main decision maker. So before they're taking action, kind of going back to that slower and more deliberate process, they're really likely to talk over something with someone that's on their advisory team before they actually leap into action. Now, having this stable of trusted advisors around them generally keeps them from making some mistakes that they might otherwise have made. Because when you surround yourself with professionals who are experts in their field and you talk with them and you listen to them, you're going to pick up things that you didn't already know. I mean, that's just why we have experts out there. I don't know the ins and outs of what a lot of my female clients' jobs are, but they don't know the ins and outs of mine. And so being able to partner with someone like that, being able to deliberately connect, to find those people that you trust and to develop a relationship-based approach to taking action in their financial life really is one of the big secrets of wealthy women. Okay, the last secret of wealthy women is they align their money with their values, which frequently means they're spending more money on family and on giving back. Okay, now that's not necessarily a secret to building wealth, but it is a secret to finding happiness within the wealth that you have. And the more that you align your money with the things that are important to you, the more confident you're going to be about your financial decisions, and the more likely you are to not be second guessing yourself.
Yeah, and Mary, this is interesting considering women do 85% of all spending in the country.
That's a lot of it.
And as I'm thinking back on everything I've purchased for Christmas, I'm like, oh yeah, I did. In my household, I do at least.
All right, Kelsey, I'm going to rat you out for just a second because I know you've said before that your husband doesn't do a lot of shopping, but when he does, it's usually something that's a bigger cost.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, just yesterday he bought another guitar. I was like, but it's that's kind of our hobby. But yeah, I do most of the spending. He does some spending. It tends to be the higher ticket items, but I think a lot of the decisions, though, are still going back to the women. And I love this one, frequently family and giving back, or just in general being generous. And I think it's timely with the holiday coming up because I'm going back to the Christmas Carol, and isn't that the one with Tiny Tim and
and Scrooge?
Yep, Scrooge. And he had all the money, but he had nobody to share time with, and as soon as he found generous compassion in his heart, then things were better. And I think it just totally lines up there, that you can have all the wealth in the world, but unless you're finding a way to create happiness with it, then it doesn't do me a lot of good.
And I think that triggers into something that I say all the time, is that money buys you choices, and it's a choice in how you want to spend it. So women are more likely to invest in things like education for their children. Like a lot of times when couples come in and we're talking about financial planning, especially if they're younger couples, the female is the one who has a much stronger opinion about saving money for college or providing more of the college experience on their nickel than the husbands usually are. Now, that's not always true, because it also depends on kind of what your own past experience was. But if someone is tilting towards let's help the kids out more, it's much more frequently mom. And then that goes back to the security thing that we were talking about. Mothers tend to protect their young, and so they do things like add in life insurance. So if something happens to them, the kids are taken care of. They're much more concerned about things like that. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying aligning money with their values. Another way that women frequently align money with their values is looking for investing opportunities in areas that matter to them. So we see a lot of socially conscious investing when it comes to women. And socially conscious investing is in things that don't do things that people think maybe they shouldn't be. So like it's investing in things with no guns, no drugs, no war efforts or things like that. I'm not saying that that's the right way to invest. I'm just saying that that is something that typically gets done more with a female client than a male client, because they're trying to align their money with what they value. Okay. On the giving back side, then one of the secrets of wealthy women on that piece of it is that they're giving of time and money. And that's leading to the sense of fulfillment that can come with sharing your wealth with something that matters to you. So that's how you can kind of tie in both family and giving back to understanding this is how wealthy women tend to operate. Okay, so the 5 secrets of wealthy women: they take time to understand how money works and they're involved in their household finances. Number 2, they invest with an eye on return and security. Number 3, they tend to make slower and more deliberate investing decisions. Number 4, they build relationships with trusted advisors and they take action on sound advice. And number 5, they align their money with their values, which frequently means family and giving back. So if you're someone who's been listening to this and you're looking to develop a relationship with a trusted advisor, we'd love for you to reach out and just come out and have coffee sometime. We call that first meeting a value assessment meeting, and that's all about connecting, chatting, understanding who you are and what you're looking for, what your needs are, and if we can add value to your situation, you might continue to work with us. And if we can't, then you probably won't, but we would have had a nice conversation over a good cup of coffee. So give us a call. Anyway, thanks for listening to Money Guide with Mary Sterk and the 5 secrets of wealthy women.
Sterk Financial Services is celebrating 20 years in 2024. The views expressed are not necessarily the opinion of your audio provider and should not be construed directly or indirectly as an offer to buy or sell any securities or services mentioned herein. Investing is subject to risks, including loss of principal invested. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No strategy can ensure a profit nor protect against loss. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should only be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Insurance offered through Sterk Financial Services, which is not affiliated with Osaic Wealth. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth. The rankings for the Forbes Best in State Wealth Advisors list by Shook Research is based on due diligence meetings to evaluate each advisor qualitatively, a major component of a ranking algorithm that includes client retention, industry experience, review of compliance records, firm nominations, and quantitative criteria, including assets under management and review generated for their firms. The Forbes ranking of America's top women wealth advisors is based on an algorithm of qualitative and quantitative data, rating thousands of wealth advisors with a minimum of 7 years of experience and weighing factors like revenue trends, assets under management, compliance records, industry experience, and best practices learned through telephone and in-person interviews. There is no fee in exchange for rankings. Forbes is a trademark of Forbes Media, LLC. All rights reserved. Rankings and recognition from Forbes, Shook Research are no guarantee of future investment success and do not ensure that a current or prospective client will experience a higher level of performance results, and such rankings should not be construed as an endorsement of the advisor.